I've never gotten pushback on like, why do we, maybe we don't use the word emotional intelligence, but essentially that's it. Never got pushback about why is that necessary or anything like that. It's like, yeah, of course, we need it, but how can we do it? So I can't speak to any kind of conflict between like a techie mind and these touchy-feely things, because I feel like the folks we have there that are tech kind of get both worlds. So we have this class called Managing Your Energy, which is kind of a neat bridge between, I don't know, our other classes and then more kind of meditation and yoga type classes. This one is more like, how do you, like the title that people like is, how can I do more and stress less? Like they wanted that doing, performing is a big part of it.
Right.
So in this class, it's broken into these different buckets and where you're having your most problems. Is it physical stuff? Is it mental focus? Is it emotional? Or is it your alignment between what you want to do and what you're actually doing in life? And I'm telling you, everybody huddles around that mental one because of our technologies. Because we have email, we have chat coming up, bing, 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 and our telephones are going off all the time and all that stuff. And we haven't, I don't think as a company, I think probably even as a collective, figured out how to deal with that, to still have the depth to be able to think about, you know, some issue or some problem in a really interesting way. So I'd say it's because of those technologies, people really hyper get that we do need this kind of stuff.
They need to slow down sometimes.
Yeah.
Leanne, what about the response from your employees? We have a couple of questions up there that deal with the integration and transformation of body, mind, and spirit within the company, and how do you put that together, and what kind of response do you get?
Yeah, and it's a great question, and I think in a couple of ways. So we're at a different state of maturity, I think, at Brocade than say a Google or an IDEO. And it really goes back to what I mentioned earlier, and it's this culture shift to a greater health and wellness culture. So what we've done to help kind of build that within the organization is put together different challenges. And the challenges range from, you know, a bike to work day challenge that leading up to that includes 5 days of biking, to an executive challenge. And I was telling a couple of people earlier that recently, and this was our most successful challenge yet, we had over 10% of our population participating, and it was groups of 12 participating in a challenge against our executive staff members. So, you didn't hear it from me, although I am being recorded. Our executive staff wasn't number one, and the great thing about this, yeah, they're working too hard. But the great thing about the challenge, one, a huge amount of interest, global, teams of people collaborating with one another who hadn't done so in the past. And for this program in particular at Brocade, it gets a lot of press from our CEO. He stood up at our last all-hands meeting, and we had a well-fit slide, and we talked about the top 5 teams and where the executive staff was relative to the rest of the organization. And that is very powerful. So those are the types of things that we're doing. And in addition to that, you were mentioning, Mark, the technology piece of it. We have a platform in place. It's our own. It's an intranet, but it's our own Facebook, if you will, within the company. And what we found is that these grassroots groups, whether it be biking or hiking or meditation and yoga, are starting to form, not because we have a committee or HR or benefits is running it, but because the people in the organization have a great interest in this, and they're identifying and finding other people in their own network to build these communities, which has been fantastic for us, and we're building on that with our platform and our strategy.